All right. These are my UFC. What numbered event is this? 323 predictions. I didn't upload my UFC guitar. I attempted to make my UFC guitar results video. The video got like fucked up, and I didn't want to remake it. So it is what it is. Congratulations to Arman Jasurian, but fuck him. I'm happy that he actually gets. I'm happy he got cucked the championship fight again because I don't like him. So even though him getting the fight was the right thing to do, it's like at the same time, fuck him, right? Um, yeah, but let's get into these, man. What a card this is gonna be. Um, Let me get my face cam on screen here. There we go. Okay. We're starting off with Mohamed Naimov versus Myron Santos. I'm taking Myron Santos, man. I know that Mohamed Naimov is good, but there's a lot of asterisks in his career. Like, he robbed Nathaniel Wood after cheating like 13 times. He's a proud cheater because he does it often, and he doesn't seem to care. Both of these guys like to forward pressure, but I just think that Myron Santos is a much cleaner striker. I think that Muhammad has more power in his hands, but I just think that Myron Santos is just such a clean striker, and his takedown defense is beautiful as well. So I don't really see anywhere. I don't see Muhammad Naimov winning this fight anywhere it goes. So, and I just think that Myron Santos is just better. I think that Muhammad Naimov he's decent, but he's kind of mid. I think Myron Santos is a legit prospect in the featherweight division who's probably going to go very far. Muhammad Naimov will never touch ranked. I think that Myron Santos has a big shot of at least getting ranked in the top 15. I just think he's better. And they both fought Khan Offley, right? Myron Santos knocked him out badly. Whereas Muhammad Naimov, I know he just said he had more power, but he went to a decision against Khan Offley. So I just think that Myron Santos is better. Much better. Moving on to Mansour Abdul Malik versus Antonio Tricoli. I don't have to spend any more than a minute on this fight. Mansour Abdul Malik is going to win this fight incredibly easily. Antonio Tricoli is top 3 worst fighters the UFC has ever seen. And that's really just it. He got finished like back to back by Shara Magomedov, which is embarrassing already in itself, and then by Trishan Gore. I mean, this is just really embarrassing shit. Trishan Gore just lost to a Bo Nickel head kick KO victim. So, I mean, what are we really doing here? Antonio Tricoli is absolute shit, and I know that he's dating Mackenzie, or he's married to Mackenzie Dern. I don't know, one or the other, I think, right? But he's absolute shit. So he's not going to ever win again. Moving on to Iwo Bareniski versus Ibo Aslan. I'm taking Iwo, and mainly just because I think that Ibo Aslan is kind of... I don't think he's shit, like I was just bagging on Antonio Tricoli for, but I don't think that Ibo Aslan is good at all. He's powerful, and that's about it. Most of the time, his technical striking is not good. Most of the time, he just doesn't do much. Like in his fight against Billy Elikana, he was just happy with just losing rounds by doing absolutely nothing. And Iwo has a 100% finish rate. He's undefeated. He's powerful himself. Got a 20-second KO in the Dana White Contender Series, which was nasty. He can grapple as well. He's Iwo versus Ibo. Iwo has genuinely just got a lot more to his game. He's just genuinely a lot better. He actually goes for things. He cares to win and truly attempts to. Ibo Aslan is very happy and just letting himself lose. Didn't he just get submitted as well by Ion Cutelaba? Now, Ion Cutelaba, I think, is pretty good. But, it is what it is. I think he's going to win. I think he has the advantage on the feet. If anyone's going to get a knockdown or KO on the feet, it's going to be Iwo. And if anybody's going to get a submission, it's going to be Iwo. So, I mean, you really just got to look at it that way, right? Even if Ibo Aslan is slightly better, which I don't even think he is, even if he is just slightly better, he's not going to do enough to show that against Iwo. So, Iwo by submission, round 2. Moving on to Edson Barboza versus Jalen Turner. Jalen Turner's got this in the bag, I think. Jalen Turner coming back after being retired. We all knew he wasn't going to be retired forever. He's fighting Edson Barboza, who's damn near 50 now at this point. Just lost to an absolute can. Who did he just lose to? His face is in my head. He's the dude that got KO'd by Beneil Dariush, KO'd by Joel Alvarez. His face is there. The name just isn't coming to mind. But yeah, bro got KO'd by Beneil Dariush on the feet. And he beat Edson Barboza. And Jalen Turner he's not that great, but he's at least very nasty. He's very powerful on the feet, and he has really good submission instincts once he drops somebody, and we saw that in his guillotine win versus I'm forgetting names, man. That one Australian guy that got head kick, spinning wheel kick, TKO by Hafal Fiziev. Yeah, whatever. I can't remember the names on the spot for some reason, but Jalen Turner's got this. I think he's longer, taller, bigger, stronger, more powerful, better striker as well. At this stage in their career, I think Jalen Turner is going to be the better striker out there. And obviously the grappling is probably going to be one-way traffic for Jalen Turner as well. So I see Jalen Turner honestly getting a knockout here against Edson Barboza. I see him knocking Edson Barboza out, maybe second round, I would imagine. Just because Edson is slower, he's old as hell. And he's just pushing it. He's pushing it. Edson Barboza was so damn great at one point of his career, but this is what happens when you just push your career way too damn far. Like Anderson Silva. He ends up getting knocked out on the feet by Uriah Hall. It's like, some of these guys just push their careers way too long. Dustin Poirier, I think, got out at the right time, and I think a lot of fighters should be pushing for that. Once you know it's over, just don't give your family any more of, these losses, man. But I got Jalen Turner round 2 knockout, honestly. Moving on to Marvin Vettori versus Bruno Ferreira. Oh, I've been going back and forth on this one, to be honest with you. I think Bruno Ferreira's going to get a submission. I really do. I know that Marvin Vettori's got a granite chin, and I'm going to make a hot take here. He might even drop Marvin Vettori for the first time in Vettori's career because Bruno Ferreira has very underrated power in his hands. You know what? While I'm making this video, because I just realized I hadn't made it yet. So while I'm talking, I'm going to make the thumbnail. I make my own thumbnail, so I'm going to make my thumbnail for this video. But yeah, so I just think that Bruno Ferreira is better. He's way better. Marvin Vettori's problem and his issue is his chin and his toughness has genuinely carried him his entire career. Carried him to a title shot, carried him to ranked spots because he's not good at all. He doesn't have good hands. He doesn't have any power. He doesn't have any good kicks. He's not even that good of a wrestler or a grappler in general. He's just not. But he can take everything anybody has ever been able to give him, and sometimes he just puts relentless pressure on them. Even though his pressure isn't damaging them because he doesn't hit hard, just his chin being able to take all the shots he can and then just overwhelm them with pressure sometimes is kind of enough for him to get a lot of these wins. But Marvin Vettori, I've watched his entire career. I became a fan in 2017. And I believe Marvin Vettori had his debut like 2 years prior, 2015, 2016. I've been watching since 2017, and then even since then, I went back to watch like his first like fight or whatever. Marvin Vettori genuinely hasn't like evolved or upgraded his game like since his debut. He fights the same way. He hasn't added anything new to his game. It's just like it's just embarrassing in my opinion, and I don't think that Vettori's good. And Bruno Ferreira's really good. He's really good. I don't like the fact that he lost to did he lose to Abu Smagomedov? Because I think he did lose to Abu Smagomedov. That's a horrible loss. I don't think Abu is that good. Let me fact check that real quick. He did. He got submitted by Abu Smagomedov in the third round. That's a really bad loss. Because Abu has no gas tank. I just don't think Abu is that good in general. But he did KO Dustin Stoltzfus. I was actually there live for that one. Because it was in Lexington, Kentucky. Where I live. So I actually seen that live in person. And then, yeah, he KO'd... and then he submitted Armin Petrosian. Then submitted Jackson McVeigh. He's on a submission streak right now. He is a really good jiu-jitsu guy. Knocked out RoboCop as well, which a lot of people can't seem to do. I just think that Bruno Ferreira... Not that Bruno Ferreira necessarily has any power that Marvin hasn't seen before, because I do think that Jared Cannonier is a harder hitter than Bruno Ferreira. But the thing is with Jared Cannonier is that he likes to fight all technical, and he likes to try to be as clean as possible. So even with how hard Jared Cannonier hits, he kind of gives up some power and able to for a better ability to land. Bruno Ferreira doesn't do that. When he throws and lands, he wants to take your head off. So I can't imagine a scenario in which Marvin Vettori, who isn't good in my opinion, is eating 100% shots off of Bruno Ferreira. And I just don't know if Marvin Vettori can take that for 3 rounds, because I think he's going to get beat up. I can definitely see Marvin Vettori getting dropped here, but I'm probably still not confident enough in it to put it in a prediction. So I'm going to just say that Bruno Ferreira gets a takedown in round 2 and submits Marvin Vettori. I do think he's going to get a submission here. Marvin Vettori, has he ever been submitted? I'm trying to think. I know he has a few submissions. I'm trying to remember if he has ever gotten submitted. I don't believe so. I believe all 9 losses are by decision, but I do see a submission, I think, here for Bruno Ferreira. I would just like to imagine that you get to a point in your career where you just lose it. Leon Edwards had never been knocked out. He just got knocked out for the first time by Carlos Prates. Carlos Prates has KO'd 3 people who had never been knocked out prior. So it does happen. Not that Leon Edwards' chin is anywhere near the level of Marvin Vettori, because Marvin Vettori, in my opinion, does have the greatest chin we've ever seen. But I'm not predicting he gets dropped. I'm just saying, I'm making it known right now that I would not be surprised if it happened. But I'm going to say it doesn't. I think he's going to get a takedown and get a submission, though, on Vettori. Bruno Ferreira is a good striker, good grappler, really good power, and he's young, I think. So he's just going to be faster, bigger, stronger, more powerful out there, more confident. Marvin Vettori's confidence. I mean, bro lost to Brendan Allen. I mean, how much worse can you be? Bruno Ferreira, round 2 submission. Moving on to Nazim Sadikov versus Fares Ziam. I'm taking Nazim Sadikov. I see a lot of people taking Fares Ziam. I just don't know about it, man. I don't know about it. I'm going to be honest. I know that Fares Ziam is good, and I fairly often pick against Fares Ziam. I don't know if I've ever picked him in a fight. Let's look. Let's go through. Because I don't recall ever picking him. I picked Mike Davis, and I was very confident in Mike Davis. I picked Matt Frivola. Okay, I picked him versus Puelles. Okay, I forgot that they fought. Decision to... Ugh. I picked him over Jai Herbert as well. Okay. I also picked him over Figlak. Okay, and then I picked McKinney. So we're back to picking against him. I picked him over Vendramini and Malarkey. So I've actually picked him in most of his fights actually. So okay, fair enough. But I just think that Nazim Sadikov is better because if we look at mutual opponents, right? Terrence McKinney. I will get to Terrence McKinney. Terrence McKinney is one of my favorites, top 5, easy. He dominated Fares Ziem, submitted him. Nazim Sadikov submitted Terrence McKinney. Now I know that MMA math is terrible to use and generally doesn't work, but I mean going off of mutual opponents is a pretty decent. It is a pretty good way to predict fights generally. Now I do think that the only reason Nazim Sadikov was able to submit Terrence McKinney was because Terrence's arm was trapped behind his back and that side was laying against the cage. So he was literally just kind of trapped with no feasible way to get out ever. So, very unfortunate situation for McKinney. I can't wait to get to his fight, but damn. I have to go with Nazim. He is just a better striker. And he is a better striker. There's no doubt about it. And on the ground, I think that Nazim Sadikov may be a bit stronger. I think he may be a bit strong for Fares Ziem. Even if Fares is maybe slightly technically better on the ground, I just don't think it's enough to outweigh the physical strength that Nazim Sadikov has. And I know that Nicholas Mata is not a good fighter. I mean, he's okay. But he's not a fighter that you should really be going to war with like Nazim Sadikov did. And I don't think Fares Ziem would go to war with him. So I could definitely see Fares Ziem winning here. I'm just not gonna pick him. He's had a bit of a few iffy. He's had more iffy performances by Nazim, and I've been a bit more impressed by Nazim over the course of his career. So, and look at that long, soy looking torso of Fares Ziem. I mean, the body shots of Nazim Sadikov are just there. So I'm gonna go with Nazim Sadikov by round 3 knockout. Moving on, Macy Barber versus Karine Silva. This is easy, Macy Barber. I don't really have to spend much time on this. Macy Barber's got it. She's miles ahead on the feet, way better on the feet, and has some of the best takedown defense in the division. And Karine Silva, she doesn't finish much, but when she does, her way of finishing is on the ground by submission. She ain't going to get a submission over Macy Barber. Her anti-grappling is simply just too good, and she's miles ahead on the feet. I think this is going to be a very fun night for Macy Barber, full of nothing but easy, and I think it's going to be very easy. I think this is going to be a performance bonus. I just think she's much better, and the style as well just favors her way too much. Karine Silva is okay, but stylistic nightmare right here. This is what you call a stylistic nightmare. Macy Barber's got it. Moving on. Terrence McKinney versus Chris Duncan. Yes, sir. Terrence McKinney. Terrence McKinney's going to win. He's just better. I think that on the feet, Chris Duncan, obviously, he could have a chance of chinning Terrence McKinney. We've seen it in Terrence McKinney's career, as much as that pains me to say. But McKinney has been fighting with him very, very high IQ lately. Not striking too much, getting right to the ground, and just playing with these guys like they're toys to him. And I do think that Terrence McKinney is levels above in the grappling over Chris Duncan. I know Chris Duncan has a few guillotines in his last few fights, but they're given to him. What's his name? Jordan Vucenic stuck his head in the guillotine. Balaji Oki stuck his head out like a turtle out of a shell right into the armpit of Chris Duncan, giving him a guillotine. I think he got another guillotine. Can't remember who. Coming off of a war against Mateusz Rebecki, which was honestly a good fight and a very good performance from Chris Duncan. I just think that Terrence McKinney, not only is he going to be a bit bigger out there, I believe, but he's a lot faster, and I just think he's more dangerous on the feet. I think once this fight starts, I can see Terrence McKinney being too fast and actually dropping Chris Duncan within the first minute of the fight. And then jumping on like a mounted guillotine like he did in his last fight against Vyacheslav Borshev. and getting a submission. Let's oh my God. People forget, man. Vyacheslav Borshov knocked out Chris Duncan. He did. Nasty left hook, I believe it was. Puts Chris Duncan out cold, snoozing on the canvas. And Terrence McKinney just dealt with him in less than a minute. So, but I do think that Chris Duncan is definitely a harder matchup for Terrence McKinney than Vyacheslav Borshov. But I just don't see much in Chris Duncan's game. Even though I do think he's decent, I don't really see much in his game that tells me he beats Terrence McKinney. I don't think he has the right, I don't think he has the right amount of pop in his shots or the speed to even get there. I think McKinney outspeeds him, drops him, and gets a submission. And I'll give him 2 to 3 minutes in the first round, actually, because I do think that is going to be just a tad harder than Vyacheslav Borshov. I'm not going to put Chris Duncan, his grappling, on that level, but yeah, I just think that Terrence McKinney's got this, and he is the underdog, 154, so only a slight underdog. So, yeah. But yeah, I got Terrence McKinney. Terrence McKinney's the underdog. I thought he was a favorite, I think, earlier this week when I had looked. But he is the underdog. Okay, I got Terrence McKinney by club and sub. Drops him and subs him in 2 minutes. Moving on, Grant Dawson versus Manuel Torres. I changed my pick on this one. If you follow me on Twitter, I picked Manuel Torres originally, but then I started watching some tape and really think about it, and I just can't pick against Grant Dawson. I think he's just too good. I know that he got chinned by a jab immediately into the fight with Bobby Green, and obviously that's a bad look, and Manuel Torres does have more power than Bobby Green, but let's be honest, Bobby Green hit a sweet spot. It was just as soon as the fight started, clean jab, right down the pipe, fast as hell, just put him out. Manuel Torres doesn't do that. Manuel Torres wings over punches. He's very wild. He's not tucked tight or clean. You can see his shots coming every time he throws them. He's kind of like a DDP of the lightweight division, and that just doesn't work. Manuel Torres, although he is very dangerous and powerful, he is just very flawed technically everywhere. On the feet, on the ground, he's just too flawed. He's kind of like a bruiser. He goes in there and he could probably KO you if you try to brawl with him. Grant Dawson isn't brawling with him. He has high fight IQ. He's not dumb. He's going to go out there, shoot the takedowns needed, get the control needed. He's going to score a unanimous decision 30-27, I think, Grant Dawson. He's just too good of a grappler. His grappling is genuinely amazing. And he beats Bobby Green 9 times out of 10. That he doesn't land a perfectly placed jab on the sweet spot 2 seconds into the round. So I got Grant Dawson over Manuel Torres. And Grant Dawson is not weak. I don't think Manuel Torres is just going to outmuscle him in every position and then get back to the feet. So I got Grant Dawson 30-27. Moving on. Jan Blachowicz. To the main card. Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov. I'm taking Jan Blachowicz. I know Jan Blachowicz is old, man. I know he is, but there's something about the heavier weight divisions that you can get away with being a bit older. And I know that Bogdan Guskov is decent, and he has a lot of and he's been finishing people. But yes or no, did Bogdan Guskov not get KO'd by Volkan Oezdemir? He did. He got KO'd. No, he got submitted by Volkan Oezdemir. But he did get dropped, yeah. I believe he got dropped. I just think Jan's better. Even in his old age, Jan Blachowicz is a better striker. Jan Blachowicz is giving up some... What is going on? Jan Blachowicz is giving up some speed here. Bogdan's going to be a bit faster. But, I mean, if we really look at the career of Jan Blachowicz, I mean, who has he beaten? Israel Adesanya, Dominic Reyes, arguably beat Magomed Ankalaev. I don't think you can score that fight to Magomed Ankalaev. I think you either draw it to Jan Blachowicz or a draw, which is what it was. Technically he beat Alexander Rakic, but Rakic was cooking him. I just think he's better. I know he got submitted by Glover Teixeira, but I think Glover Teixeira was pretty decent when he fought Jan. That's why he became champion. So I don't know, man. He is older, and I actually, you know what? I will say this: I scored the fight for Jan Blachowicz over Carlos Ulberg. I did. He was landing the bigger, harder, more powerful shots. So I actually think that Jan Blachowicz won that fight. That was his last fight, and Carlos Ulberg's fighting for the title next against Alex Pereira. So that says something that I think he should have gotten that decision. But Bogdan Guskov is good, coming off of wins over some good guys. Billy Alakana's good. Nikita Krylov is good, but his chin is going. Ryan Spann is shit. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with Jan Blachowicz though. Just too many accolades for me to not consider, and he hasn't really looked bad in his career. Like, he looked good against Carlos Ulberg in his last one. He looked good against Alex Pereira. Some people argue he won that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's just Jan Blachowicz is just he's very he's consistently good, whereas Bogdan Guskov has been, but he hasn't been here long enough to really go through what Jan's went through. So I'm going to go with Jan Blachowicz by, do I dare say knockout? Boris Bauer. I mean, come on. I'm going to go with, because Bogdan Guskov is touchable on the chin. So I am going to go round 2 knockout for Jan Blachowicz. Henry Cejudo versus Peyton Talbot. I haven't posted it yet, but Henry Cejudo is going to be my underdog of the week. That being said, I'm taking Henry Cejudo. I'm going to talk about this a bit more, but I shouldn't need to after I say what I'm about to say. If Raoni Barcelos was too much too soon, Henry Cejudo is way too much, way too soon. Henry Cejudo is genuinely much better at everything than Raoni Barcelos. Henry Cejudo was genuinely doing really well in boxing exchanges against Song Yadong. Song Yadong is one of the best in the division. He's going toe-to-toe with Sugar Sean O'Malley in January. He was cooking Cejudo. He was up 3-0 in my opinion before the eye pokes, which were a bit unfortunate and were Song's fault 100%. I know that the size difference here was ridiculous, but Henry Cejudo was a very smart fighter. He even did really well against Merab. Hurt Merab, almost dropped him in the second round. Oh my god. Peyton Talbot's good, but he's young, and I just think he's still got a lot of learning to do. And at the stage it is in his career, I really don't want to see you go up against a Henry Cejudo. He's been there, done that, seen it, beat it, champion, 2-division champion, beat Demetrius Johnson, knocked out Dominic Cruz, knocked out Marlon Moraes. I mean, this dude has an incredible career, and Peyton Talbot is a young up-and-coming star, and I just don't think he's got what it takes right now. Had he beaten Raoni Barcelos, we might be having a totally different conversation right now. But it really just is because of that fight. And he did beat Andre Lima. Is that his name? Felipe Lima. He did beat Felipe Lima. But it was a close fight. And Felipe Lima was making some... I'm going to retract that word. Was making some really, really dumb decisions. Dumb decisions. Dumb decisions that Henry Cejudo wouldn't make. I just have to assume Henry Cejudo is going to win this one because he's just better, and he has shown it. Peyton Talbot hasn't shown that he's better than Henry Cejudo. Even if he beats Henry Cejudo, it's a shot in the dark, in my opinion. I can't believe Henry Cejudo is a plus 230. This is such a beautiful underdog to take, and I'm taking it. So, yeah. Of course, Peyton Talbot's massive for the division, very tall. could hypothetically catch Henry Cejudo with a knee as he's going for a takedown, or use his length and his range to keep Cejudo out of, out of range. But I just don't see it, man. Peyton Talbot's just not that good yet, unfortunately. So, Henry Cejudo by decision. Moving on. Brandon Moreno versus Tatsuro Taira. I'm taking Brandon Moreno. I know a lot of people are taking Tatsuro Taira, but a lot of people are also taking Brandon Moreno. I just can't imagine a scenario, really, in which Tatsuro Taira can show Brandon Moreno something he hasn't seen yet. Brandon Moreno won the rivalry against Davison Figueiredo. Kept Alejandro Pantoja off his back in critical moments. I mean, what can Tatsuro Taira, what can he do that Brandon Moreno can't counter? I know that Brandon Moreno kind of stalls a bit. He doesn't do that much, and Tatsuro Taira can maybe get more ooh and ah moments when nothing else is happening, but I just think that, and I mean, a 3-rounder, I'm going to be honest, a 3-rounder does benefit Taira, whereas a 5-rounder would definitely benefit Moreno. Moreno's young, and he's like a super veteran. I mean, he's been here for years, multiple-time champion, fought the who's who of the division, beat him as well. And Tatsuro Taira is a really good fighter, but I just can't put him on the level of Pantoja or Brenner Royval. Brenner Royval beat Tatsuro Taira, schooled him. So I just really can't. I can't imagine a scenario in which Tatsuro Taira is able to surprise Moreno with anything in his game or do something that Moreno can't counter. Tatsuro's powerful. He's got some heat in his hands. He's got really good slick grappling, but it's Brandon Moreno. He's like 31. Greatest UFC Mexican fighter of all time for a reason. At 31 years old. So I am going to go with Brandon Moreno. He's been schooling people. He just absolutely schooled Steve Erceg, schooled Amir Albazi. It just is what it is. All right, moving on. What's going on? To the co-main event, Alejandro Pantoja versus Joshua Van. I'm going to take Joshua Van. And this could be an absolute brain-dead take. If Pantoja win this, especially if he does it easily, I am going to look retarded. Okay, never mind. That was the word I tried not to say earlier, but I said it, and I'm not going to edit it out. I might look retarded because I think that Joshua Van... I'm going to just say this. I think that Steve Erceg beat Pantoja. I scored that fight for Steve Erceg. I just think that Joshua Van is much better at everything in MMA than Steve Erceg is. He's a better striker than Steve Erceg. He's got more power than Steve Erceg. I think he's got better takedown defense than Steve Erceg. Man. But it really does suck because Joshua Van started training 6 years ago. And 6 years ago, Alejandro Pantoja was a top flyweight talent in the division, I believe. So, not I believe, he was. So, man, 6 years ago, Joshua Van started training. That could really come back to bite me in the ass. It really could, especially since Pantoja's coming off of a dominant win against. He's got like what 3 rear naked chokes in a row. He just rear naked choked Kai Kara France. He just did it to Kai Sakura. He got a decision win over Steve Erceg. Joshua Van's takedown defense percentage is 81%. And Steve Erceg's Steve Urseg's is 62%. Maybe Steve Urseg is a bit better offensively on the ground, but I don't think that's going to mean anything here. Because Joshua Van's not going to be offensively grappling. He's going to want to keep it on the feet. And I do think he's going to get taken down and lose the first round, but I think after that first round, he's gonna get the understanding of Pantoja's takedowns. And Pantoja is a good grappler, but he's not like a takedown savant. He's in most fights, he gets more of his takedowns stuffed than he actually lands. So Joshua Van also being better than all those guys at defending takedowns is also going to be a very helpful thing here. And I just think Joshua Van's better on the feet. He is better on the feet than Pantoja. But Pantoja's got an insane chin and durability. I believe he's never been knocked out. So Joshua Van's got some work ahead of him for sure. But I do think Joshua Van's going to win. I just think that everything that gave Pantoja problems against Steve Urseg, Joshua Van just does better. And since I think Urseg won that fight, you do it better. I mean, you're going to beat Alejandro Pantoja, I think, in my opinion. But maybe Joshua Van's 6 years of training is going to be very visible, and he's going to get taken down and submitted, which is very likely as well. I just believe in Joshua Van. I do. I just believe. Because last time I doubted him, he won. I picked Brandon Royval against him, and he beat Brandon Royval. Dropped him with 10 seconds left to win the fight. So yeah, I got Joshua Van by round. I'm gonna say round 3 knockout. I'm gonna go bold, man. Go big or go home. Moving on to the main event. Why is it being weird? Where is it at? Where's the main event? I don't know where the main event is. It's not on screen. Main event is not on screen. Let's go ahead and refresh the page. It doesn't work at all. Okay. That works. I guess we'll just go up. I'm trying to see if I can fix it somehow, but it doesn't look like I can. Go to events. Dvalishvili versus Jan 2. Okay, it's just not going to happen. So we're just going to keep it right here on this screen where we can kind of see him. I'm going to go with Merab for obvious reasons, man. I mean, it's Merab. Last fight, Petr Yan didn't even win a single round. He got 50-45, man. And I think Merab is improving. He almost just knocked out Corey Sandhagen on the feet. And I don't think it's possible to win a decision against Merab. I think to beat him, I think you are going to have to just flatline him out cold. And Jan just doesn't have power in his shots like that. Obviously, Jan can hurt you, but his last knockout was like, what? Jose Aldo in 2020? And before that, was it Uriah Faber or something like that? Like, Prion is really good and he's really technical, but you ask him to get a finish and he just doesn't know what you're talking about. You know? He can't get finishes. He doesn't have the power. So I can't see him having the power to get enough respect from Merab. Merab is just going to shoot takedowns again. He's just going to shoot, get him down, get up, shoot, get him down, get up, land a big shot, shoot, get him down, get up, land 2 big shots, get a takedown, get back up, shoot a takedown. Like, he's just going to wear out Petr Yan again. Especially since I think what Petr Yan has to do to win is get on the gas early, go out there in round 1, round 2, and put him on the back foot and be very aggressive, But I just can't trust Yan to do that because that's not how Yan fights. I can't. I can't trust a fighter to do what I want them to do rather than what I know that they are going to do. And Petr Yan is going to act like he's downloading data again for the first 3 rounds. And he's going to lose the first 3 rounds. And then once he realizes it's round 4 and Merab, once he realizes it's round 4 and he hasn't downloaded the data on Merab, even though he had 5 rounds against him, not, like 2 years ago, Merab's just going to already be too far in the lead. But I do see Petr Yan doing a bit better here. I see him winning a round. 4-1 Merab is what I'm taking. I'm going to give Petr Yan, round 2 or 3 or something like that. But Merab's going to just win another good dominant decision because Merab can't be beaten. And I actually have a hot take. I think Song Yudong beats Merab. I do think that. I do think Song Yudong beats Merab. But I don't think he beats Sean O'Malley. That's the issue with Song Yudong. I think he beats the champion, but I don't think he can win enough fights to get to the champion in the first place. So we'll probably never see that fight. But yeah, I got Merab here. Merab is probably going to be even landing the harder shots on the feet. I mean, if you do what he did to Corey Sandhagen like that, Petr Yan is a bit more stationary than Corey Sandhagen. Corey likes to move a bit more. He has better foot movement and footwork and stuff like that. But Yan is a tough customer. He's never been knocked out. And he's been hurt before, but I don't see a finish here for either guy. I can't see Merab finishing Yan. I mean, how is Merab going to finish Petr Yan? Is he going to submit him? I highly doubt it. Is he going to knock him out? I highly fucking doubt it. But I also don't see Yan getting a finish. Is Yan going to submit Merab? Absolutely not. Is he going to knock out Merab? Very, very unlikely. So this is a decision if I've ever seen one. Merab just going to out cardio and outpace him again. Just doing more takedowns, more punches, more whatever he needs to do. I just can't see Yan beating Merab, and I do wish he was. I am going to be rooting for Petr Yan this weekend, which is insane because I've hated Petr Yan ever since his first fight with Aljo because I've always been on the side that he was completely in the wrong there. But, it is what it is, right? Merab Dvalishvili by decision. Unanimous decision, 4 rounds to 1. With Petr Yan potentially getting a knockdown, maybe? I mean, am I going to say he gets a knockdown? Hey, who knows, right? Who knows? But that's my predictions for this event. UFC 323 takes place this weekend, and I'm very excited for it. And, yeah, that's the video. Let's go Petr Yan, right? Let's go Petr Yan. So, all right. Thank you for watching. Bye.